Today we're going to be doing an editing breakdown of Acura's new commercial for their electric vehicle. Dope. What's poppin', everybody? My name is Danny Matthews, and today we're going to throw this video into Adobe Premiere, break this thing up, and really just go into the editing of what's happening in this commercial. And first of all, I'm going to go ahead and show you the video right now.
Game on. See ya. Permission to launch. Bend with the wind. Almost there.
And now that you've seen the video, we're going to go ahead and jump into Adobe Premiere. Now that we're in Adobe Premiere, we have this edit, and I went ahead and just cut this apart. And this is actually very simple editing that's happening in here. It just looks very complicated because of the design that they threw over top of it. Now, I'm going to go through this pretty quick because I already recorded this before and I actually screwed it up, and it took me about 15 minutes. So I want to cut it down, that way I can get more information in and that you guys can learn quicker. If you need to stop, just go ahead and stop the video and whatnot, but we're going to go ahead and jump into this. So first things first here, I want to talk about one thing that you want to keep in mind through this whole edit is the sound design. The sound design sells this thing 100% more. I mean, it's already an amazing visual to watch and it sells it already just watching it, but if the audio wasn't there, there's a whole nother layer that we're just not even taking advantage of. So the reason we want to have great sound design in our edits is because it is another sense that our brain has to understand the physical. So if we're seeing something and then we're hearing it as well and they actually correspond correctly, then it's going to be more believable in the physical. So jumping into this, let's go ahead and just watch through here. So we see that we have this clip jumping into this whole scene. We have on my timeline, you can actually see this is one of the longer clips that we have, but because of the whole pacing of this, we see we have quick cut, quick cut, right on through just all of these clips. And this one's the longest one, but if you watch it, you don't feel that way. So if we go back through and we watch this, we can see that there is a lot of energy in this clip. It is moving fast. We are moving into a car that's moving. So because it has that energy, you're able to use longer clip. Now that's what you want to be able to use, is a variety of clips. You can have longer clips if they're faster paced in a fast paced edit, and vice versa. Going through this again, just going in, we are going into the car and understanding the setting a little bit, and seeing the car, we see what kind of car it is. It's a Type S. This is the Acura Type S that they have. And going through again, we're seeing where the whole location is of things. She says game on, and that means like, hey, we're about to roll through this. So we in our mind, as a customer and a consumer, we're watching this going, all right, something's about to happen. So she says game on. This is when she grabs her steering wheel, she tightens it with her racing gloves, and then hits on the gas. And now we're going through this portal thing, where this is the whole concept of this video, is jumping through a portal. Here we go, we're coming through the portal. This is another thing to really keep in notice as an editor. We can see right here that she is starting to turn her wheel, and we are already in motion to start drifting. This next clip is the cars already drifting. We need to make sure as an editor that we have these cohesive moments, that we're going from one clip to another to keep the story cohesive. To keep the story cohesive, we do these things where she's already turned the wheel and the car is already turning. So now it's all one understanding and motion of the mind of what's happening. Now we're going to jump into this first transition that we're going to see. We see our letter box actually closing in on us. So it's coming on the top and the bottom. It's becoming a more cinematic visual as our mind will understand it. So now we're coming into the first transition, and it's just a simple match cut. And what I mean by a simple match cut is, a match cut is where one object on a screen is viewed in the same exact location on the next screen, or it has that continuous motion where it has right here, drifting across the screen. And to mask all of that and why it looks so complex is we have this CGI visual effects we have this portal that we're going through, and it's right in the middle of the screen, and it covers the cut. Have the cut totally covered, and bam, we are now in a new location. The color grade is completely different, and we are drifting in the car. So we have our new car here that's white, and it's mid drifting. And now this actually, in our minds, it makes sense, but going back through the edit, you'll understand. But seeing that this is going back into the first car that they had, and now we're going into the second car, and it actually changes the person. Changes the person, changes the car, and we can see that the cut is right through here, that we're doing again another match cut. But because it's being whooshed away by the audio and by the visual effects happening here, it looks extremely seamless. And another thing to keep in mind when you're doing match cuts is to keep the object pretty much exactly the same size if you can. These are definitely planned out things, but sometimes you can find it by accident if you're doing a video. But for commercials, these are all totally planned out. So coming in here, another cool thing that we see is that she starts drifting her car again, and we can see right here she's doing the same thing. So again, fluent of the story. Very important that you keep in mind as an editor. You are in control of the fluidity of the video and the story being cohesive. Jumping through here, just kind of driving through, again, establishing location. This is fast paced, we're moving, we got music, bam. Next, edit right here. We can see right here the car is going through the portal, and because the car is coming down the like cylinder that's driving through and going through this portal, we have this clip now coming in and merging with the next clip, kind of just thrown over. It's kind of a wipe effect. I don't really know exactly what they would do. There's a million different ways you could do something like this. And then going through, the car goes through the garage, and it goes in the same exact motion. If you see, it comes right through here, and it will line up right where the garage entrance is. And again, we see the letterbox change. You can use letterboxes to your advantage to change the time and understanding what's happening. And that's how we have so much stylistic difference in this video, and it's very engaging and very interesting because we're jumping through time. So we come through here and we can see that we have this kind of fading the car in, probably shot on two different shots, one with a clean palette and then one shot with the car, and kind of just faded the car in. Coming into here, again, we do this match transition, match cut, where we have this switching into another character, and we can see that the time warp kind of like brings it all in together with the different characters around her. And now we go ahead and we continue on, and we can see here, and we notice the sound again. We just have like birds, car driving, nothing really much to it, just sound effects of around what's going on. So we kind of give the customer a moment to breathe through this and understand the time and what's going on. And we can see we have these cool cuts right here where we can use a letterbox to actually make a transition by spinning it down like a film camera and cutting to a next clip. Back in a moment, and we can see they do like a little cool thing with the Acura. We really want to make sure that we're using text effectively in these videos, and that matches what's going on, and it's cohesive and it looks. Coming back in here, we have car hitting the camera kind of feel, and it hits the camera, we break the glass, and we hear it break, and it starts rotating, and bam, we have another cut. Letterbox then slowly changes. I don't really call it slowly changes, but like it changes as time goes on, and we have this cut again. In the middle, we have the portal completely right here, and our clip on the left is already rotating by camera. They definitely did that on purpose, but in post they start to create this next effect where they rotate it even more. So this shot is complete on the left, and they start rotating it with the portal moving left. So now they can showcase what's happening on this next clip, where they shot this at like, it looks like a Dutch angle, and they're rotating a little bit more toward the Dutch angle, and they come into this new clip again doing the match cut with the faces, and it looks almost like identical. You can see it's a little bit off, where she's a little bit more up and then she's a little bit more down, but it's in the same exact location for the most part in the middle, and we have all of these effects happening that we don't even see it when we're watching it. It doesn't even phase us. So coming back in here, whole nother thing, we got the music going again, permission to launch, and we have this a little bit more suspension, if that makes sense, in the air, like we're starting to pull away a lot of the feel to kind of give you a breathless feel. So we can see that happening, right? Gives you a little bit of taste right Here with the slow motion to the dirt, showcasing the launch, we do a speed ramp into slow motion and the sound just starts to come away. So it's kind of just sucked out. We just have the song on a lower volume and we see it happen right here as our next transition. We instantly see a flash of white from the animation that they put into this. White screen going into the outline of the white car, again a flash of white, some other flashes happening, and then bam, we have like a matte layer of the animated car, and then bam, we have the match cut again where the car would be if it was the other Acura. We have the new Acura in midair, and it goes into this really cool animation, which I think is really unique. Really awesome that they incorporated this into the video. This is something really important I want to mention right here in this edit. We have the car just drive through and it kind of just drives right over the camera, and then we go to this kind of white screen, but then bam, we have this flower where the flower's in focus, and then what it does is it's establishing a different location. We're like, all right, we've never seen a flower before, but it's still animated, so it's like, I get it, we have an animation. But next, what we see here is very unique. We see these grass particles start moving, and that looks a lot more lifelike, and we can see a light flash across and wind push across it, and that is to you as the audience watching this is, hey, we are going to a different location, but instead of doing another match cut, we are just gonna make sure that you assume that this is the portal and we're going through another time again. So then we see this, but now what we see to get more information in case you didn't understand what the heck was happening, we see the portal in the background. So we see the portal in the background and we're on the new car in the new location. So this is another transition that we can do here that actually gives a little bit different, unique, and different taste that a lot of people probably wouldn't use. Using that same characteristics of what happened with the portal. We know what the portal did. We know how the characteristics acted when we did it. Now let's apply that to the new location to give it a transition. So jumping in here, we have this cutting into this car, and we see right here is another match cut transition. Again, this one they got a little bit unique with. So they had a lot more flexibility because it's animated. They can make the character go where they want it to. So what they did is they matched it up and they just kind of faded it into the next character. And now we are in the next scene. So bam, going in here, she's driving, shabam, and bam. Okay, so this one's really cool too. This one is probably my favorite transition because of how it just kind of like engulfs you. So a really cool editing technique here. Besides using the sound, again, the sound is giving you understanding of the visuals. And here we have this cut right here. The cinnabar start opening up and we get this I'm being sucked in feeling. Now, to get that feeling, we have, first of all, this portal is starting to be opened up quite a bit. You can see it just kind of like engulfs you. But besides just that, we have the letterbox opening up with it, and you're being engulfed, and we're going through it with the car now. We're going from behind the scenes, behind the car. So now we are just in it, and bam, it pulls you into this next cut, which is so brilliant. We pull into this next where it's like warping into all of the characters. It pulls this whole idea and the concept together with the portal, warp around all of the characters and all the characters merging together and going into the Acura symbol, which is doing another transition into the next thing. And then we have here new world, same energy, just some text to add on to the message. Pulling into this, introducing the electric car, and bam, another little transition coming soon. So this transition is pretty simple. It's just a cut from one to another, but this overlay that they have where it's kind of like pulling and warping, it's an overlay on both of them, so they put it on the first one to hide the cut so it looks like it's coming out of it. And pretty much it. And then bam, accurate location. So there you go. This is a very in-depth breakdown of the Acura electric vehicle commercial. A whole lot of information to go through, but guys, I hope that this was helpful for you. The one biggest thing to keep in mind is that match cuts and just simple cutting is so important to understand, because once you understand that, you can start putting a whole lot of design factors on top of it with effects, different concepts, different designs, and it just makes it look so much more appealing. This is not new editing. This is nothing new that they're doing here. All of this is very traditional editing. And what they did on top of it is a lot of CGI effects, bunch of different stuff to make it look cool and to have that concept come alive. So with all that in mind, hopefully that this video was helpful for you and you guys learned something, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.